Hi guys, it's Malik Foster Travels here. In this video, I will be going over if Honolulu is worth visiting, a complete city review. First, I want to add context that I'm coming from a tourist perspective, not a local. And second, I got a rating system based on the categories that I'll put up on the screen to determine if you should visit or not. The scoring is 1 through 10 for each of the 12 categories. And if the score is 66 over 120, you should definitely go visit the city and it's worth it. So let's get into the discussion. Alright, let's talk about getting there. So I flew from Los Angeles to Honolulu. It was a direct flight. It was about 5 hours. It felt like 8 because of the time change. So I'm from the East Coast. I'm in the Georgia area, and that takes me about 5 hours to get to LA. So I flew from Atlanta to LA and then LA to Honolulu, Hawaii. So getting there wasn't that bad. It was pretty smooth once I got to LA. I spent a couple days in LA just to hang out. So I would say I would give that a score of 8 out of 10 getting there, because getting a direct flight from the East Coast, especially from the South where I'm from, isn't the easiest, but it's not also difficult. And also the pricing wasn't that bad for the flight as well. I'll give a little bit of context. I did go with a package. So one of those, you buy the hotel, it comes with the hotel and flight. So I did that with the Hilton Great Vacations. So I did that with Hilton Great Vacations. Next, we have once I was on ground category, the resort did a vacation package where I had to pay a resort fee as well. I had the flight and I had the hotel already booked, but once you get to the hotel, you gotta pay at the property. I was arguing about that because it wasn't really clear, but once I read the fine print, yeah, it was pretty obvious I had to pay something. So that was a bummer. So I gave that a 5 out of 10 because I wasn't really feeling, everything due to that once I was on the ground. But, that's my biased opinion, my first impressions essentially, which I'm going to get into right now. So my first impressions of Honolulu, Hawaii is there's many Asians, specifically Japanese, all over the place. There's also a decent amount of white populace, Caucasians, and on the islands of Hawaii as well. Also, that the weather is pretty interesting, but I'll get into that later. But my first impressions, many Asians, the weather was pretty cool, and Honolulu is very developed, maybe overdeveloped considering it's an island, maybe too many big buildings and stuff like that. So I know that is probably an issue with Honolulu, but those are my first impressions. So with first impressions, I'll give that a score of 6.5 out of 10. I was really feeling the beautiful weather, although it's a little expensive, so that kind of knocks it down some. So next, I'll quickly go over transportation and infrastructure both, because I didn't really get to experience the transportation aspect. So I didn't take a bus or a train or anything. But from what I saw, it was pretty comparable to somewhere up north with the buses. They were pretty consistent in the city. They seemed pretty good and reliable and stuff like that. But many people had cars, right? Too many people have cars on the island. I think that could be an issue. As far as infrastructure, it might be too developed in terms of buildings, city-like, especially in Honolulu, Waikiki area that I was staying in. So for transportation, I'll give that a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good for what I saw. Infrastructure, I'll give it 8 out of 10. They probably could use a little less infrastructure in Honolulu, so that probably would knock down. But I'm really big into the environment, so I give transportation 7 out of 10, infrastructure 8 out of 10. But let's get into hangout spots and nightlife. So it's not too many hangout spots. It's kind of lacking a few bars and stuff. So when I was trying to hang out with somebody I met out there, it was kind of difficult. There wasn't too many spots to hang out. They got many restaurants, but then again, I came for relaxation, the views. It was like a birthday trip, and history, so I'm just recapping for you guys. So I'll give it 5 out of 10 because I feel like it could be a little bit more different things to do in the city besides like shop, tourist stuff. It's really not that many options in my opinion. Okay, next we have the food, right? I enjoyed the food there. It was really good. I give the food about a 4 out of 5, above average. I really enjoyed it. I kept ordering from this one restaurant where Uber Eats. That's how good it was. So I give the food a 7 out of 10 as my score. I really enjoyed it once again. It was delicious. Let's get into the women, right? The women there, they were friendly, but most people are tourists in the area and on vacation, so I couldn't give much in depth of that. But from what I saw, they were decent. It wasn't too many overweight women, but it's not very diverse, and I personally aren't attracted to those kind of women. So I'll give it 5 out of 5, 5.5, 5.5 out of 10. I'll do that. And as far as cost, let's go into cost next, right? The cost is one of the most expensive states in the United States. The daily costs are pretty high on the island, and they also import a lot of stuff. So the cost of living is really bad, and the pricing is really bad. So I would give that a 3 out of 10 on that front. So let's get into weather. Okay, this is one of the best things I love about Honolulu, Hawaii, is the weather. The weather is impeccable. It's close to perfect. It was very good weather. I give this a 10 out of 10. Full stop. No arguments from me there. Next is the culture. Hawaiian culture is rich. I even went to the only monarch in the United States. It was very fun. It was very entertaining. I loved it. I suggest people visit the palace. It's a nice palace. I highly recommend that. So I give the culture a 9 out of 10 because they do have a deep history of actually being its own independent country, as well as then joining the United States, right? So they also have kings and whatnot, and queens and stuff. So that was pretty interesting. So let's talk overall grade, right? So overall grade, I give it a 78.5 over 120, which the average score to that was 6 out of 10. So that's my above average level, right? So yeah, Honolulu, Hawaii is an above average trip. I think I highly recommend it for a short stay or someone who's bored, who has 5 to 7 days to kill, or they want to take a vacation for 5 to 7 days. It's very expensive, but nice overall. Good food in my opinion, very safe, and you get what you expect out of Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's my review.